Love power. Hello, guys. Just we will set the pictures. We will put it on in a moment. And my name is Nikolay Oleynikov. I am from Russia. I'm living in Moscow, and I'm doing different things there, which can be considered artist practices, and political practices, street politics, activism. Even sometimes I sing and work with a musical band. And I will just show you several examples of how art and artistic practices can be affiliated to the politics and street politics, which is the agenda right now in Russia. It didn't just fall from the moon, and the agenda was there since Putin came, and we knew it quite well already in 2003, when a group called Что делать, which can be translated in English like What is to be done, named after famous Lenin's pamphlet, started to exist. This is a group of 10 people. Some of us are artists, some of us are philosophers, researchers, writers, critics, and so on. And we are trying to figure out how, yes, just a simple, rotation of slides. How art and artistic practices and knowledge can be affiliated with political agendas of demand for equality and liberation. But the situation we are facing right now in Russia, I would say it's rooted in 9/11, and not only in Russia. You know it's in every country. The same policy, the same state policy called neoliberalism is right now flourishing. And after 9/11, there was this certain Shanghai Agreement signed by the major countries in the world to resist terrorism. And it brought to life new anti-extremist police department in Russia in particular. We just published a large analysis on Center Air, how we call it. Center Air, police department to prevent extremist activities, and extremist activities is such a term that you can apply to anything you don't want to have. Any misbehavior can be extremist activities. And actually, Pussy Riot case is totally based on this kind of bullshit. Okay, let's be honest. Because they were concerned extremists quite firmly, and it is easy to make people believe that extremism really exists, and extremism is really dangerous to the society, and therefore we have to detain those people who we think are extremists. We had in Russia during 90s and 2000s many scandals with the censorship of art. Maybe you remember Avdej Taraganyan, who was exiled for his art performance when he was cutting icons with an axe. And Andrei Yerofeyev, the curator of contemporary art, who was sued by Orthodox activists for curating a show, Forbidden Art. In early Putinism in 2003, a new initiative, which I'm talking about, the Что делать group, was appeared with a clear agenda to work on separate fields of art, knowledge, and activism and politics. Once we came up with a clear statement that we refuse to separate our political views and agendas from our artistic and scientific practices. We are affiliated also with radical street political groups, extremely far left and anarchist and new leftists, and we are working together with them on different projects. Sometimes we include them in our artistic practices, like theatrical plays or exhibitions or workshops. And one day we went protesting, there is a slide about that, we went protesting when far-right artist Alexei Belyaev-Gintoft was nominated to Art Prize in Moscow, and it was quite successful protest. It was hugely on media, and we was claiming it from very beginning. But for the major cultural worker society, it was not clear until last years that art and politics has something in common. And so we tried to claim it year by year. And then another activity I'm included in is May Congress of Creative Workers, which exists already for 4 years, and right now it exists of 15 organizations from all over ex-Soviet Union. We have people from Kiev, from Kharkiv, from Kyrgyzstan, from Kazakhstan, and we are really proud to work as a network altogether to decide and to research on the conditions, labor conditions of creative workers, which was, the question was never actually raised, not in Soviet period, not after that, for different reasons, but still, we were like pioneers in that, and we just, Evgenia Abramova just published in Russian a beautiful text summing up the conditions of creative workers and creative class in Moscow. Now we actually, I was to drop a few words about censorship and self-censorship, because there are, of course, on the whole terrain of former USSR, because of that, extremist law is applied, it can be applied to anybody, so people are often facing these problems. And once we was setting a seminar and a workshop called Leftist Politics, Leftist Art, Leftist Philosophy, Poetry and History in Nizhny Novgorod in 2009. And we was started early in the morning with watching a film by Jean-Luc Godard, Sympathy to the Devil, shot in 1968. And we didn't finish with watching it, but was interrupted by a police squad, which caught everyone, like 30 participants, and people from the group, the people who gave lectures and organizers, everyone. They caught us and detained for several hours, taking pictures of us and stamping our fingerprints. And then we decided to go more political, and we are keep on trying to do that. Just let me see. Another activity. Actually, it's very important that you see red flags and different flags over there on a demonstration. This is how we actually go out after every year session of May Congress. We go with a demonstration of 1st of May together with anarchists, with socialists, and with radical communists on the streets to demonstrate our solidarity. It's a very important issue for us. Then we supported, of course, the Pussy Riot case, because this is the most harsh censorship case we ever faced during the last 20 years, I believe. And people already call us supporters of Pussy Riot, and that's why we was censored recently in Bishkek, because our concert was banned just 2 days before agreed date, and they were actually already paid for our concert, so it was on regular basis. We was just going to get to Bishkek, and we received the news that concert is banned. And we was really happy to that people who organized the concert summed up and came with a new proposal, and we went to the club, and we was playing a great concert there. And then we come to the history, to the story about another activity which I'm participated in. It is a band called Arkady Kots, which is very important for us, for people who are playing there. Most of us are non-musicians, but we are trying to rediscover the whole tradition of protest song, and we are taking examples from all over the world, and we have songs translated into Russian. We have songs written by Russian anarchist poets Alexander Brenner, and one of our greatest hits, I would say, is actually a song written by Andalusian poet Luis Llach in 1968 again, and it was a hymn, an anthem during the Franco period. It was anti-Frankist anthem, which became later an anthem of trade union, Solidarity trade union in Poland, translated by Jacek Koszmarski, and then we translated it into Russian. And once we came to support Pussy Riot in front of the court, was caught by the police, and they put us in a police van, and we was continuously singing there. And actually, it was our luck that people had cameras around, like mobile phones and photo cameras, and they shoot us. And it became really an anthem of recent political protests in Russia. And yes, and actually, that's the thing that we are all doing. This is not just me. This is the huge bunch of people who are affiliated to different organizations, the clandestine political organizations, visible political organizations, organizations on cultural field, curators, artists, philosophers, and so on and so forth. And you know that, maybe you know, that recently the first brutal and rude police clashes happened in Moscow, and it was on 6th of May, and already 20 people detained, and how we as art workers could help them. We also realized to support all the campaign around, and some of us are included in the committee of this 6th of May campaign. And for example, here we can see a mural which is done in Lecce, Italy, recently, and it depicts Alexandra Dukhanina, the first prisoner of 6th of May. She's 18-year-old girl, and she's an anarchist, and she's blamed to beat up a policeman brutally, like she broke his fingers or whatever. And yeah, and that's how we can actually act, that's how we can work, that's how we can give. We are privileged people, we are cultural workers, we have a stage, we have an audience. And I think that we really should organize to use the audience, to use the art field, to use the scene, to give the voices, to give the voice to those who are detained, who are censored, who cannot do it right now, right away. And I would really appreciate any attempt like this if people come to the stage and in front of other people saying about what's going on, saying about things that they disagree with. Today you will hear like Alexander Cheparuk will be presented the same thing, like about Pussy Riot. And he will tell the whole story, he know. And my last thing to say, we want all political prisoners out of prisons. We want all women political prisoners out of prisons right now,